Vice President Osinbajo to hold talks with United States Vice President Mike Pence on issues of mutual interest between Nigeria and the U.S. Nigeria elected chairman of International Labour Organization Government Group for 2019 and 2020. And in furtherance of the globalization context, Vice Chancellor Botswana University seeks collaboration with Nigerian institutions. Now the news in detail. Now, the Vice President leaves United States this Saturday afternoon and is expected back in Abuja on Thursday. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo will be visiting the United States, where he will be meeting with his United States counterpart, Mr. Mike Pence, and other key groups and interests in the country. Ahead of his meeting with the Vice President of the United States in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, Professor Osinbajo will be meeting with the Council on Foreign Relations on Monday in New York. In his meeting with his African counterparts, the Vice President will be discussing matters of mutual interest between Nigeria and the U.S., while he will be speaking on Nigeria's economic prospects and other related matters in his meeting with the Council on Foreign Relations. And Nigeria will be has been elected chairman of the government group of the International Labour Organization, made up of all the regional groups of the ILO for the year 2029 and 2020. Nigeria was elected at the end of the 118th session of the International Labour Conference of the ILO in Geneva, Switzerland. Ambassador Audu Kadiri, Nigerian permanent mission to the United Nations in Geneva, represented Nigeria during the election. Nigeria was the vice chairman of the government group in 2018 and to 2019 and has a policy of the ILO. The vice chairman automatically becomes the chairman the next year. The role of the chairmanship of the governorship group is to put up strategic plans and coordinate all government members from 187 member nations of the ILO during the tenure. And in the context of global, Botswana University is seeking partnership and cooperation with institutions interested in staff and student development vis-à-vis cultural and other bilateral relations. This was at the instance of the Vice Chancellor of Botswana University, Professor David Norris, who came to Nigeria in a bid to build strong network with institutions and organizations of higher learning in the country. Patricia Isami Luba reports.
It is pertinent to go with the unstoppable integration of nations, technologies and markets available in the way that enables individuals, corporations and nation-states reach around the world further, faster, deeper and cheaper than ever before. The presence of Professor David Norris in Nigeria therefore tells it all.
There are three key things that bring us here: forging partnerships with universities in Nigeria, partnerships in research collaboration, in student-staff exchange, and also student recruitment.
The visiting team believes it is time for Africa to witness a change in the narrative, leveraging on the socio-economic potentials of the continent in all ramifications. The University of Botswana was founded on the pillars of internationalization from the beginning, and that is what informed the need to collaborate with Nigeria. This visit, according to the team, is therefore to further create a conducive avenue for prospective applicants.
But most importantly, for them to be admitted, what they need is that they need to have 5 credits. Credits we mean as C or better. And they apply online. You just have to check that you meet the requirements.
The Embassy of Botswana in Nigeria say there will be a 2-day educational exhibition to shed more light on the offer.
There will be a show here at the embassy here on Monday and Tuesday, where prospective students would come and interact and get some more information about the University of Botswana.
The only Nigerians we knew were professionals, actually, be they in the judiciary, in the teaching field, in the medical field, doctors. There's still Nigerian professionals, playing a critical role in the development of Botswana. So Nigeria has been very, very important to us as a country.
The relations between Nigeria and Botswana dated back to the liberation struggle era in the 1960s. Consequently, Nigeria gave immediate recognition to Botswana at the occasion of her independence in 1966. Patricia A. Samiluba, NTA News.
And the ECOWAS Parliament Joint Committee has rounded up its deliberation on the contribution of the international organization and non-governmental organizations towards the provision of health care, housing and food for displaced persons and refugees in West Africa. The committee reports, which will be submitted to plenary, recommends that member countries of the community should include in their national budgets provisions to address the disturbing crisis of internally displaced persons and refugees in the sub-region. Declaring the session closed, the second Deputy Speaker of ECOWAS Parliament and Member of Parliament from Côte d'Ivoire, Kamara Aminata, noted that this would enable the region to provide food, shelter, education, and also to protect the human rights of victims of crisis, as parliamentarians have the role of consolidating democracy and providing assistance to internally displaced persons and reintegrating them into the society. And refugees in Nigeria have been assured of continued support by the federal government to erase challenges they encounter. This was emphasized during the presentation of relief materials to refugees in Abuja by the International Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Displaced Persons. ECOWAS and the United Nations High Commission for Refugee is part of the financial activities to mark 2019 World Refugee Day. Ruth Agwele tells us more.
I miss the way I used to live, how I was before. How my life was stable.
You leave your country and come to a place where you don't know, you have to struggle to survive, all that. So it's not really easy.
One can only imagine the plight of these faces who have sought refuge in Nigeria. Most of them from Cameroon, Chad, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Sierra Leone. Some dropped out from school as a result of their present condition. For Constance Agenebit, who is a master's student of the Catholic University of Bamenda in Cameroon, she believes her dream of completing her program is still a reality.
Of course, if I have the opportunity, I'll go back to school because I was almost graduating, and this crisis just came, so we ran.
This gesture is targeted at giving a sense of hope to these refugees. The National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, in collaboration with ECOWAS and the United Nations High Commission for Refugee, is bringing succor to them as a final lap to mark the World Refugee Day with its theme, Taking a Step.
And we are here today to demonstrate to the refugees that we are working in solidarity to support them in their quest to be self-reliant here in Nigeria.
We have been very, very consistent in collaboration with other agencies. So as far as the issue of refugees is concerned, Nigeria is always ready at any given time to assist.
The refugees express gratitude to the donors for what they describe as immeasurable hospitality they have found in Nigeria. Key players attribute prevention and intervention as key components in conflict resolution within the African region to reduce the number of refugees in Africa. In Abuja, Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
And Mauritanian heads to the polls in what may result in the first democratic transition of power since the West African country achieved independence in 1960. President Mohamed Abdel Aziz seized power in a coup in 2008, but has agreed to step down and abide by a two-term limit of office. More than 1 million people are eligible to vote in Saturday's election. 6 candidates are competing for the presidency. In other news outside Nigeria, President Vladimir Putin has temporarily banned Russian airlines from flying to Georgia following a spate of violent unrest in the country. It came after some 240 people were hurt in a day earlier in a protest that were ignited by the appearance of a Russian member of Parliament in Georgia. Tensions between the countries remain high. 11 years after they fought a war over the region of South Ossetia, Moscow will also recommend that Russian travel agencies suspended all tours to neighboring Georgia. Georgians protest against TV station closure. Thousands protest in Georgia over gay rights rally. Sigel, the Russian member of the parliament who sparked the fury on Thursday, addressed an assembly of MPs from Orthodox Christian nations, but protesters stormed the parliament in the capital, Tbilisi, and police used rubber bullets and tear gas in an attempt to disperse them. The Speaker of the Georgian Parliament has resigned following the violence. He faced a fierce backlash for inviting them to give the speech. Moving on, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation of Nigerian NNPC has revealed that the corporation is set to resume oil search in Chad Basin if it gets security clearance. The report.
Of the corporation, Dr. Omekan Tiboru, disclosed this when he received the governor of Bauchi State in his office in Abuja. He explained that there seemed to be prospect at the region as Niger Republic had drilled 600 wells and are producing, while Nigeria had only drilled 23 wells.
We've identified the needed low-hanging fruit at the Komani River area, and Your Excellency, I think we're having good indications, which when we complete that well, obviously, Mr. President will be fully briefed.
On the proposed Institute of Petroleum Studies to be established on Bauchi State University, the NNPC boss pledged the corporation's support for exchange programs and manpower development. The governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Muhammad, who commended the NNPC for its support towards the growth of the oil and gas industry, said he will be committed to the exploration activities of the NNPC in the area.
Some hydrocarbon in Bauchi and some activities going on during his time, not only in Bauchi, in Gombe and in the Chad Basin, apart from the Gongala Basin, and to assure him that we are going to deepen community relations in such a manner that will give you unimpeded access to make sure you do your activities.
And the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation of Nigeria has revealed that the corporation is set to resume oil search in Chad Basin. And away from that, the Advanced Nigerian Democratic Party is urging Nigerians to support the military through maximum encouragement in their efforts to safeguard the lives of Nigerians from insurgency. The party's national chairman, Charles Ogboli, was speaking at a meeting while briefing media people in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
National chairman of the party believes that terrorism is a global affair and not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Therefore, the need for the media as a strategic partner in the task of nation building to play its role through accurate and objective reportage.
We should all encourage the military, give them the maximum support, give information where necessary to tackle the issue of insurgents in this country.
Recalling the state of the nation's security before the coming of the Buhari administration in 2015, Charles Ogboli submitted that the administration has delivered on its promises to relatively restore security in the affected places. In another development, Partners for West Africa Nigeria, a non-governmental organization, has called for prosecution of election riggers and those involved in corruption over the years. This is believed to be an added impetus to the present administration's fight against corruption and other related offenses.
Decided to start convening thematic roundtable discussions on issues that touch on strong institution, democratic governance in Nigeria.
Speakers at the event submitted that a lot needs to be done to achieve a more acceptable level of transparency towards earning public trust. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
You're still on NTA International News. Coming up soon. Welcome back. Now, Nigeria is consolidating on her leadership position in space technology in Africa and is perfecting strategies to support the continuous development of space science and technology in the country and around Africa. Lolade Alayaki reports.
Just some few weeks ago, Nigeria marked 20 years of landmark in space technology with the launch of the first satellite, which were subsequently followed by others, including communication satellites. Now, the country is poised to entrench space science and technology, which has become integral parts of human lives. This is another historic moment for the National Space Research and Development Agency as it inaugurates the board of Nigeria Academy of Space Science and Technology to help improve environmental degradation, weather forecasting, air traffic control, security, and many others.
The Nigeria Academy of Space Science and Technology has been registered. This will afford us all a springboard for the advancement of collective ideas aimed at enhancing space industry in Nigeria and Africa at large.
Space technology holds the key to socio-economic and sustainable development, national security and defense.
Job is also about collation of that data, the domestication of that data so that it can have local relevance, as well as changing that data to information that's going to be useful for a common man.
The excited stakeholders agree that the Academy will allow space scientists and engineers to aggregate their ideas for the development of space science and technology in the country and across Africa. In Abuja, Ololade Alayaki, NTA News.
And the Nigerian youth have been urged to look inward to discover the creative spirit in them and build a movement that will change the Nigerian narrative. Sarafina Okun reports that the call was the thrust of the message at a youth conference in Abuja put together by the Summit Bible Church.
Awaken to vigilance and order. We shift to the reformative. You must take responsibility for the new Nigeria. Arise.
High rate of unemployment, lack of funds to kickstarting business, and of recent, the increasing rate of suicide among youths is what this gathering wants to address. With the theme, This Generation, Taking Responsibility, Disrupting the Narrative, among other objectives, is set to also reposition the minds of youths so as to make Nigeria one of the greatest nations on the face of the earth. The senior pastor of the Summit Bible Church, Andy Osakwe, urged participants to intentionally begin to define life for themselves and not allow challenges define it for them.
When someone's life doesn't have a meaning, they tend to get so frustrated and they just feel, the depression sets in, and then suicide follows depression. So once you reactivate purpose, depression is not found anymore, and suicide is eliminated.
Okay. One of the conference speakers, Grace Jerry, representing those living with disabilities, encouraged the over 30 million people living with disabilities in the country to start as small as with their immediate environment, using the little space they have to impact in whatever sector they choose to influence.
Do not accept what the society puts on you. Do not accept what your circumstance or situation puts on you.
What I'm taking home right now from many of the speakers is that we should use the available resources that are within us to impact value to ourselves.
My number one benefit is disrupting the narrative is at your doorstep. It is something that I already have, and it's something I should build on. It's something I should perfect.
This Generation Conference is a platform for youth to understand their potentials and help change the narrative about Nigeria. Serafina Okun, NTA News.
Now, the Sea of Galilee serves several purposes to the people of Israel, beyond being a religious site that attracts the attention of tourists from all over the world. Dele Atombil takes a look at the importance of the Sea of Galilee to the people of Israel and tourists.
This is the Sea of Galilee, also known as Kinneret, meaning violin in Hebrew language, which is believed to be the shape of the lake. This lake is the largest freshwater body in Israel, occupying 64 square miles, nearly the size of Washington, D.C. Water, they say, is life. Hence, the Sea of Galilee is life to the people of Israel, as it is the largest source of fresh drinking water, supplying about 1/3 of the nation's annual water requirement. Apart from this, the sea also contributes to the country's gross domestic product, as it is a significant source of commercial fishing, and the surrounding area grows cotton, bananas, and dates. In addition, the sea, which is a pilgrimage site for many Christians, is believed to be where Jesus Christ walked on the water, and before his ascension, Jesus appeared to 7 of his disciples in a final miracle catch of fish. The earthly ministry of Jesus Christ commenced from this sea, and Galilee is one of the holy sites in Israel.
Believing God that everything shall be stable and all right in our country, security-wise, socially, and economically. It shall be well with us.
The testimony of the Sea of Galilee is that no matter what, Jesus said, if you as a man you cannot do it, he will do it himself. He can calm the storm down in Nigeria, and I believe
Nigeria is now going to stand on this water to walk with peace.
I'm seeing Jesus calming the storms of my life and the life of my family and my country as well.
Tourists often stop by the ancient natural hot springs that are nearby the sea, believed to have therapeutic effects. From the Sea of Galilee, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And time now for our weekend review segment, and Obiagili Ugoke is our guide.
You're welcome to the package that reminds you of notable events of the outgoing week. The report of the European Union Election Observer Mission on the 2019 general election took the front burner in the week, with diverse interpretations.
The Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, chaired by INEC, included all of the responsibility security agency. We recommend that in the future it works more transparently and inclusively.
The aspects of the report that we think are vague and are not definitive enough. For instance, if they say the result collation process is not transparent enough, I expect them to be very clear as to what they expect to happen over and above or beyond what we have in the Electoral Act presently.
Moving on, the National Economic Council was inaugurated with the task to fashion out best ways of lifting the less privileged Nigerians out of poverty and secure the country for sustainable growth and development.
We are firmly committed to securing the territorial integrity of our nation while confronting the remnants of terrorists, bandits, and other criminals across the country.
President Muhammadu Buhari assented to the bills seeking the establishment of the National Institute for Security and that of the amendments of the Federal Polytechnic Act. The president also signed into law a Mutual Assistance in Criminal Matters Act 2019. And as part of international collaboration in tackling insecurity, the Nigerian Air Force received 3 aircrafts refurbished by Czech Republic to help the Training Institute to produce the best pilot fighters. Talking economy now, the fertile lands of Nigeria continued to attract investors from across the globe as a delegation of French business community indicated interest to invest in the country and were assured of favorable deal from the federal government.
Nigeria's initiative of ease of doing business is part of understanding the agencies that are involved, the processes that are involved, and the opportunities, and also to a large extent the responsibilities.
During the week under review, the health sector got a boost as USAID launched its integrated health program in 3 pilot states with focus on strengthening primary health care services for mothers and children. On the global scene, a meeting of 28 European Union leaders failed to reach agreement on who takes on the bloc's top job. Elsewhere, Egypt's former president Mohamed Morsi, ousted in 2013, died on Monday from a heart attack after collapsing in a court while on espionage charges. Thanks for being a part of this segment of the news. I am Uche Ugochukwu.
That was Uche Ugochukwu rather there with the weekend review. And now to sports. As the Super Eagles filed out in their first match against Burundi in the African Cup of Nations AFCON 2019 holding in Egypt, President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the team to play every match with commitment for the honor of motherland. The President urged the players to lift the flag of Nigeria high and reinforce the reputation of the country as football powerhouse on the continent. The president says though he will be watching just as millions of Nigerians, the team has the solid support of the country as Nigerians will cheer the team to victory. He noted that football is a strong unifying force for Nigerians and urged the Super Eagles to provide a soothing balm to many challenges facing the country, which the government is confronting with everything as at its disposal. President Buhari noted that hence Nigerians are known for their unconquerable spirit. The Super Eagles needs to show this in the group stage and even beyond. He maintained that nothing but uplifting of the diadem of good is good enough for our country. The president, however, enjoined Super Eagles to be mindful of fair play and sportsmanlike conduct as they strive to return home with the AFCON trophy. Time now to take a quick check at our Sunday weather prospects in Nigeria and the world over.